All right, we're live with F1 Chats. Matt, welcome back, mate.
Hello, mate. How you doing? You right?
Yeah, pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad. As we were saying just offline a second ago, hectic life and hectic schedule, but good to be here again.
Absolutely. It's always hectic in this household. I know your new job, so you're cranking with plenty of hours and things like that. So,
Yeah,
big welcome to those that are new here. We're talking F1 today. Going to be talking about the 2026 liveries, some testing, who's out on top, who is struggling, and who didn't even make the testing track, or the shakedown. So, mate, where do you want to kick off first? You want to have a look at some of the liveries for 2026?
yeah. Well, the one that was released this week, the latest one was Williams, which I got to say myself personally, I think it was quite a nice little livery. It's kind of a slight interpretation to last year's color scheme, but a little bit more blue and white in it. So I thought it was quite nice. Don't know about yourself, mate.
Yeah,
What do you reckon?
I liked it. Any new sponsors on there that we can see for Williams, or they're pretty much the same?
The biggest one they've got is Carlos Sainz's Santander is out and Barclays Bank is in. That's the big one for them, really.
Okay.
They a lot last year. They've done a lot of work in bringing some big names to the car, like Komatsu and Golf as well. So they've retained a lot of those, and it's good to see that Williams have got some stickers. Just unfortunately, they didn't show them off on the testing track last week.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I mean, new season, and you were saying off air that that's the second time in about 6 years that that's happened. Also,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it weren't great. They were the only team that didn't make the testing track during the course of the week. Little man coming in.
yeah, he's in the shadows there, mate. He's talking about dogs. Yeah,
But yeah, Williams they didn't make it. Very embarrassing. A few years ago, I think it was the COVID season. They didn't make it, and they back then they were on the verge of sort of bankruptcy. So I think that was their reasoning then. This time, I think someone just pushed it a bit too far to try and maximize the performance, and I think they fell on their ass a little bit with not developing the car properly in time and we're late with everything, unfortunately. And there has been a bit of speculation out there that the car's about 2 kilos overweight and it failed a front impact crash test on the nose cone as well. So all is not well with Williams going into the new season.
yeah. I mean, plenty of new rules and regulations, and brand new cars, so to speak. So it is a big test for them to get it up and running for the testing. It's only a week away, I guess.
Yes, yeah. Next
11th
Wednesday
to
is the first
13th.
proper one.
Yeah, so I mean, it is what it is, but they've got to get it out on the track. How about this
They have.
guy joining the chat? Matt Martin, good to have you on, mate. And we're going to be talking about this a little bit later on tomorrow at Lake Liddell, the Plumber Kart Stars Series. Now, Matt was last year's winner of the series, so hopefully he can have a good race tomorrow. Good luck up there, mate. I'm sure you'll do well.
Good luck. Good luck.
Yes, no, it's a bit sad to see, a team of that caliber not making the shakedown, but here's what it is. They'll be live, raring to go, testing next week though. So
Hopefully, I mean
maybe
the big thing for Williams is that they can't afford to miss this open goal. If Mercedes really have got the best engine for 2026, then Mercedes, Alpine, and Williams are going to be way out in front potentially. So the last thing Williams needed was to kind of slip this up because otherwise Alpine could come in and sneak second, third, fourth best team of the year if they're not careful.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's massive. I mean, you look at the different pay rates that they get between first, second, third, and 10th. It's huge. So
It
we'll
is.
see how they go. Mate, who else did you like? Oh, here we go. Wrong one. Sorry.
The Mercedes is a nice livery for this year. Bit more
Yep.
black, not much
I
really has
like it.
changed. Yeah, I like it. The kind of the less silver this year, and it looks quite smart. This year they're saying that they're coming away because they've lowered the weight limit and taken all of the rubbish away from the cars, so they're a bit lighter. It means they can now go back to a metallic paint, and I think the Mercedes with the gloss black looks really smart. Obviously, big thing for Mercedes really was their new partnership with Microsoft, which is reportedly worth about $30 million a season.
Wow. That'll cover a few tyres, I'd imagine.
Might just cover George Russell's bonus if he becomes champion this year, because he's now the bookie's favourite.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
he is what they were talking about.
I really hope not, because, mate, I could not stand the way that the English press carried on with Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. So I really would hate to see how much they'll be all over George Russell's back.
Last time this happened, though, we had Lewis Hamilton and Jenson Button, a British double championship set. So this time now it could be Lando Norris and George Russell if history is going to repeat itself. So makes me laugh though. 5 seconds after the bookies inserted George Russell was the favourite, the amount of Toy Story and Woody memes that are now out there all over social media. It just the bloke always looks like he's going to cry.
Yeah. Mate, speaking of the Toy Story, have you seen what the NFL do with the they do like the Toy Story series and the Monsters Inc. So it's the actual game, and they overlay like Toy Story. And I think it would be great for F1 if they did that. Be unreal
They should
watching Woody get around in his Mercedes.
They don't really need to change much with George Russell, though. He's got the big eyes and the glassy eyes, so he's halfway there. Just needs the hat. That's all he needs.
Absolutely. What else have we got to talk about here? The Ferrari.
Big year for Ferrari. I mean, supposedly they're saying that they're second in the pecking order. That's the early reading after the closed door shakedown that everybody managed to get pictures and lap times and snippets from, because people were camping out on the top of hills and grandstands and buildings to get every kind of information they could. So it's looking quite good for Ferrari. I mean, Lewis Hamilton's also going for a bit of a reset as well. His manager's gone because he's now decided to go and be part of the leadership team for the new Cadillac team. He's also got his new race engineer, who's yet to be announced at the moment, but it looks like it's some bloke called Grosjean from McLaren, not Romain Grosjean, the driver. So Lewis is going to have a new race engineer, and looks like Ferrari are second favourites this year. So they've jumped up a little bit.
Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see. Two quality drivers, so hopefully we can see them improve on what they did last year. It was a pretty disappointing year for them last year, really.
It was. It was.
See if they can turn it around. I don't think we talked about McLaren last week. I don't think it was revealed. I think the only one that was revealed the other week was the Red Bull, wasn't it? Last time we talked.
Yeah, we had the Red Bulls. Most of them have come thick and fast over the last week they came just before the shakedown test. Obviously, McLaren, they came out with their all black livery for testing as a testing special, and their full 2026 livery, which is pretty much, I think, going to be exactly the same as last year's one. So I don't think the picture's completely far away. You know, that's going to be revealed this coming week ahead of pre-season testing in Bahrain. So the only thing that really changed for them is that obviously now they've changed their name officially. They're now MasterCard McLaren F1 team. So they've got a title sponsorship with MasterCard this year and a shed load of cash that comes with that. And I think that's about the only change we'll see on the car.
Have you seen any of the Google ads with Oscar Piastri over your way?
No, mate. No, I haven't seen them.
Oh, must be just an Australian thing. I'll find one and I'll send it to you. Absolute classic. They've done it really well. So they bring in his past with the remote control car and his whole deal with Alpine, where when he first started, was supposedly with Alpine. Like they change a Alpine picture to a papaya picture on the wall, and just very, very well done. it's very much Oscar. I'll find it for you and I'll send it to you and I'll put it in the show notes. Let me write that down, otherwise I won't remember. So I'll put that in the show notes for those that didn't see it online, but absolute classic. And they're doing the rounds in Australia at the moment. All the different, I think there's 2 or 3 ads apparently. So going to be one for the Super Bowl, which is America's Sunday, Australia's Monday. A big game coming up, and there's going to be one there. So that's apparently a $7 to $10 million sort of ad spend to get an ad on Super Bowl. So massive one for them.
Yeah, the Cadillac F1 team have done a quite expensive ad for the Super Bowl for halftime. So that would be quite interesting to see what the Cadillac looks like for this year.
Sorry, mate. I've got someone keen to see some puppy dogs. You know, on a promise. So at the end of the show, we'll make sure that it happens for the young fella. Drive to Survive, mate. The new season coming out on the 27th of Feb. So it's always a good watch. I mean, for me, the more it's gone on, the sort of less appealing to watch it is for me. I don't know about you. I'm sort of not lost interest, but it's sort of they portray what they want to portray. They don't. It's like any sort of news or movie, I guess. But your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I suppose in the beginning I was a little bit skeptical because it was very Americanized. Because let's face it, that's what F1 wanted to crack the most. Some of it was glaringly obvious, like the sound overs with the cars weren't matching the clips on the screen, and they were trying to falsify rivalries and make things a little bit more tetchy with the drivers than it actually was. Until I think it was last year or the year before, when drivers like Max Verstappen and that came out and said, "Oh, this stuff that's portrayed on TV didn't really happen." And for last season's Netflix series, they kind of dulled it down a little bit and made it a bit more grounded. So hopefully they continue that. Look, at the end of the day, F1 is massive in America now. All they really need to do is just concentrate on getting the track action right. You know, leave all the dramatic crap to one side. You know, they made a movie for that, and it weren't a bad movie. It was a brilliant movie. Now they're talking about a sequel. We don't need that in Drive to Survive. So hopefully it's a bit more back to basics. I like it.
Yeah.
I just think I like anything that's sort of behind the scenes. A bit like All or Nothing that was on Amazon as well. That was really good for like the football fans out there. But you always have to take the drama with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good that, I mean, that's basically what got me back into F1. I followed F1 as a kid, and then sort of in Australia, it's not, well, it wasn't massive, and sort of watched the Drive to Survive, and it got me back in. So I don't know, it's good for that, and it's proven that it's got a lot of audience from it. So yeah, we'll see what happens for the new one. Mate, testing. What have we got here? Testing. So the shakedowns. What's big news from the shakedowns? I know, as we said earlier, Williams didn't make it, but who do you think may have come out a winner in the shakedowns?
Looks like it's Mercedes. I mean, I think going into testing, and everybody's been saying now for about 12 to 18 months that Mercedes were going to be out in front. It was just how well they designed their car. The engine's going to be the best donkey on the grid, let's face it. But Mercedes, they came out of the box. They had the quickest time with both drivers. They pounded out the most laps. They were just way above everybody else. All the Mercedes cars, you know, whether that be Alpine, obviously Williams weren't on the track, McLaren, they were a bit late, but they still managed to pound out a lot of laps. And Mercedes looked relentless for reliability as well. So I think they're way out in first at the moment, and the rest are now scrambling to catch up.
Yeah. There wasn't too many videos or anything out there. I know they try to keep that pretty quiet. There was a few leaked videos here, there, and everywhere. But from bits and pieces that I've seen, mate, it looked like a pretty uneventful testing for most teams. I know, was it the V-Carb team or was it Red Bull that ended up had a big crash? And I think it
Yeah,
might have been
Isaac
Lee
Hadjar.
Morgan. Oh, Isaac Hadjar, was it? Okay.
Yeah,
So
Isaac Hadjar in the Red Bull stacked it in the wall, which then meant that they missed the following day because they had to rebuild the car and get the parts from Milton Keynes for Max to finish on the Friday. So a little bit of drama there at Red Bull already, but to be honest, all credit to Red Bull. This is a whole new. I know it's got Ford as the sticker, but Red Bull powertrains is a whole new infrastructure, and the fact that they came out and both V Carb and Red Bull were pretty decent. They had no real major reliability scares. That engine looks pretty good. I think full credit to Christian Horner. He said that they needed to do it. He's not there to reap the benefits now, but they look pretty decent.
awesome. It'll be interesting to see. I know with their big reveal, Ford doing it over in Detroit, trying to get that big American audience, and I think they've done pretty well with it. It looks like the audience that they were after in America with the Ford drivetrains has come through a fair bit. There's plenty of bits and pieces. You go on X. I don't go on X very often, but there is a fair bit on there in regards to Formula One now, which is pretty cool to see.
And
Mate, so who do you reckon come out on top? If you were to pick one team to come out on top so far the shakedown, who would you pick?
at the moment, I would say my pecking order is probably Mercedes, definitely. At the moment, they're saying, I mean, it will become more clear in Bahrain because we'll get official times, but it looks like Ferrari are a second fastest team, and then probably McLaren third at the moment, mainly because they're a little bit behind, and also because they started their development later so they could still put parts on last year's car for the title assault. So Red Bull could be about fourth. They've turned around and said it's going to take them 6 months to really get up there, but then you've got your kind of your middle ground of your Alpines, potentially your Williams. I think the Williams would be a pretty decent car despite the delay. And then the kind of unknown is the Aston Martin, the first Adrian Newey Aston Martin. That's going to be, and Honda powered as well. That's going to be a very big unknown going into Bahrain. And then you've got kind of the people at the back that are really struggling, like your Audis and your Cadillacs.
Yeah. Now, did you see much of Cadillac, mate, or only, little bits and pieces?
No, I mean, they were respectable at the end of the day. They pounded out a decent amount of laps. They weren't obviously top of the charts. I think they've come out and said themselves they weren't chasing times. They were chasing reliability and getting the processes for the team up and running because it's a brand new team. But, considering they're a whole new startup and they only got the entry confirmed in March last year, all credit to them. I think they didn't do too badly, not considering the dramas that happened at Audi anyway.
Cadillac team on their YouTube channel have got a fair few little short docos on what they've been doing behind the scenes and how they've got their team up and running. And one of the big things was they did a test day of everything around the communications and also all the pit lane stuff. And it was pretty interesting to watch because basically it was their sim driver driving, and then they did a race and everything was simulated other than the two drivers. So they learned a lot apparently and changed a fair bit after that. So it's good to see that sort of stuff is, as basic as you think it might be, is what they need to do to get their team sorted for the 2026 year.
Just shows, though, the capability of AI and computer technology, because this is the first F1 team that's joined the grid in a decade. The last one was Haas in 2016. And computer technology has moved on so much now with all the simulation world, and look what they've been able to do already. I mean, okay, in fairness, they've had 2 years to build this car because they had a 2-year head start without budget caps when they were fighting to get on the grid. So kind of Cadillac had a little bit of a head start there, and it would have been embarrassing if they'd have got it horrendously wrong and if they didn't make the track like Williams. But, the way the world has advanced now, simulations is the way to go. You can kind of get all
Yeah,
your teething issues out the way before you even hit the track.
absolutely. Absolutely. All right, mate. We got a fair bit coming up for the F1 world. Let's have a look. I'm just trying to pull this up here. Sorry, one sec. Why is that not showing? That's why it's not showing. 1 sec. Word, Matt. F1 coming up, mate. So we've got the Bahrain testing on the 11th to the 13th, Bahrain testing the 18th to the 20th, and then we kick off in Australia the 6th to March. Now, tell me about Australia. There's been an appeal down there. What's going on there?
Yeah, already the other engine manufacturers and teams that aren't Mercedes and Red Bull powertrain powered are all turning around to the FIA and Formula One management saying they want the rules changed over this compression ratio stuff. Now, without getting too technical, because I don't understand half of it because I'm not a mechanic, but it's something to do with the compression ratio in that when they test the engines are tested cold so that the compression ratio is rated at 16, whatever that means. I'm sure technological boffins out there will know it. But Mercedes and Red Bull powertrains have figured out a way of potentially making the ratio run at 18, which could be worth up to half a second a lap. That's made the likes of Audi, Honda, Ferrari all turn around and say, no, we're not going to allow this. So they're all appealing to the FIA to say they want it changed before the Australian Grand Prix.
So if they change it, what would they change it to? How would they change that?
I think it's going to be the testing, the way that they're going to deliver the testing, because as far as the FIA are concerned, supposedly they test it when the engines are cold and they're running at this 16.0. But then when it actually comes to the cars on the track, when they're hot, they're then getting this little loophole where they're managing to run them at 18.0. So now they're going to do the testing when they're hot somehow with sensors so that they can prove that the cars have got to be running at 16. So, yeah, some kind of trickery within the engine management and how they do things. But, they'll figure it out one way or another, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, we're not far away from a start, a month away in Australia, mate. Plenty going on, that's for sure. With testing starting in less than a week's time. Going to be good to see F1 on the TV screens and all over the socials. Anything else before we head off, mate?
No, I mean, obviously, I think, unless I'm mistaken, I think the Bahrain test one is still a little bit restricted. F1 are very nervous and kind of having everything going public about if there's any dramas, which, to be honest, they should be advertising how well F1 teams have done really with the new rule set. But I think there's still some restrictions, but we're going to get daily coverage, I know, from Sky F1 in the UK. So at least we'll actually get some track action, but no live coverage. But it's not really until the third test, the second Bahrain one, where we actually see a free-for-all where everything is going to be in the public domain.
Okay. Oh, well, it'll be exciting to see. I'm sure down here in Australia we'll have news as it happens. They've been trying to follow Oscar Piastri that sort of last year, and it's sort of definitely changed the way that Aussies have got their media with the F1. But it's good to see. Big shout out to Lake Liddell Speedway tomorrow morning. I think it's 9:30, 10 o'clock Aussie time that this one's on up there. Good luck to Matt, who was in the chat earlier, and to all those driving. It's always a good day out up at Lake Liddell. Go and check it out. Kart's on track about 9:30, 10 o'clock. All right, mate. Good to have a chat, and I'm sure that we'll talk either next week or the week after in regards to the testing before F1 continues.
We will, mate. Yeah,
Yeah.
and also shout out for the
Melbourne.
Aussies as well, because Jack Doohan's back within Haas as well. So that's another bit of Aussie news as well. I don't know whether that's been big news over there.
Yeah, it has. It's good to see. I mean, it gets him that step closer, I guess, to um, getting his foot back in. I mean, it's going to be hard for him to get a seat again, but I mean, being part of the team, and we only got to look what Valerie did last year, and he's back in a seat this year, of course, but time will tell.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. It gives him a shoe in, one step in the door where he could get a Haas seat in 2027. But at least he'll be around the paddock for you Aussies, another one to support when another Brit wins the championship in 2026.
Definitely not, mate. I can't see it happening. I can't see it happening. If George Russell wins, we might have to clip this. If George Russell wins, I will do the show with no pants on.
Yeah, you want viewers, didn't you? Don't scare them away. Don't scare them off.
Yeah. Good to catch up, mate, and look forward to having a chat next week. Take it easy.
And you, mate. See you soon.